ChippyGaming, the largest Terraria YouTuber, has a distinct house style. Today, I'm going to give my own spin on his house design. Greetings friends, Khaios here. For today's video, I'm going to be giving my own spin on a particular build style in the Terraria community. I'm sure you all know our friend ChippyGaming, and you've watched some or many of his playthroughs in Terraria. In those playthroughs, Chippy builds a specific style of house. I'm not joking with the title of this video. Is Chippy secretly a building genius? The reason I ask this is because his build style makes me think of a blend of both modern and medieval styles. But here's the thing, when I normally think of blending medieval and modern, it's usually something like this: a medieval style house with modern aspects and materials. But Chippy, whether by fluke or design, flips that on its head, having a relatively modern design with medieval aspects and materials. Today, I want to take the iconic Chippy house and give it a chaos twist, but I want to keep the spirit of the house. In order to do that, let's note the key aspects that he uses in most of his houses. His houses start with the classic shoebox shape with a slightly longer, hat-shaped roof. He tends to opt out of basements, instead having long buildings for crafting and storage connected to a stack of NPC houses that tends to go upwards. Occasionally, he'll change up his building shape by having an overhanging second floor. The material choice is extremely consistent. Chippy uses blocks that change depending on what biome the house is located in. For the case of this video, we will just be looking at the standard forest biome house. The forest house is primarily made out of wood. A line of stone runs along the background wall near the floor, which matches the roof. And for me, the thing that makes the Chippy house a Chippy house is having very large, modern-looking windows, as well as that hat-shaped roof. In terms of furniture, the houses are pretty Spartan. You'll find the essentials for an NPC to move in, and occasionally you might find a trophy, a relic, some banners, or a fireplace in a chimney. But beyond that, not much else. I'll definitely be spicing up the furniture aspect of the house. Today, I'm going to be doing two different types of houses. One where I add my own twist to the Chippy house, and one where I take Chippy's modern medieval concept and make my own house with that style in mind. Starting with the Chippy house, I'm going to kick it off by giving a little more girth to the walls. While there's nothing inherently wrong with having 1 block thick walls, I personally like to make them look a little bit thicker. I'll also be raising the height of the ceiling from 5 blocks to 6. With those large windows taking up so much wall space, an increase in the ceiling will give me a little bit more wall to work with, and it gives me a bit more room for furniture options. Next, I'm moving outside, and I'm going to give some work in the surrounding landscape. Sometimes the area outside of a house can add as much to the look of the build as the building itself. This is especially true when it comes to very box-shaped buildings. I'll start off by giving this a staple of my own builds, a false foundation. It's absolutely not necessary, but I feel like it adds a lot to the appearance of a house, and it fits my style. The landscaping that I do for medieval builds tends to be quite different from the modern houses, and I want to try to find a way to combine the two, so I'm going to give it some thought while I work on the foundation. And while I do that, I wanted to remind you all that we still have plushies available for only 2 more weeks. I wanted to thank everybody for helping support the channel by ordering your own Builder Chaos plush. This design comes equipped with the iconic Terraria item, the Grand Design. It's very well made, with soft, squishy, and quality materials. And don't take my word for it, our resident plushie expert Chino can't keep his paws off of it. Once the campaign ends, the plushies are gone for good, so be sure to order yours before time runs out. And if you would like to show your support to the rest of the community, be sure to log in when you make your purchase so that it gives me a badge to show off. Links to the sale are found below. So we have taken the quintessential Chippy house and we've gone ahead and made it a little bit taller, a little bit beefier, and we've added the false foundation down below. I'll be adding some more decorations and stuff down here once it gets to the point where I'm adding furniture and then I start working on the landscape. But for now, I want to get to switching out blocks and walls in this build. And the first thing that I want to address is this line of gray brick at the very bottom. If you guys are veterans of my channel, you'll know that I really like having lines of gray brick or some sort of accent run along the bottoms and tops of my builds. So I'm actually going to leave this gray brick here. The thing that I want to do to make it stand out a little bit more is to grab some gray paint and some ebonstone wall, and we'll add a bit of a spacer in between. This is just going to add a little bit more detail to the wall, make the stone foundation of the house look a little bit more thicker, and we're going to do the same thing up here on the second floor as well. Since I'm already working on the background walls, I decided just to start there. I'm going to be relocating the large window on the top floor to a more centralized position. I'll also be making smaller, thinner windows on the first floor. Normally, I wouldn't use glass in a medieval build, but since Chippy's houses do use them, I decided to go with them in this house as well. Brown painted ashwood wall lines the tops of the rooms as an accent piece, and brown painted large bamboo flanks the sides of every window, helping them to pop out even more. I also decided to run some more of that bamboo beneath the second floor to build a spiral staircase around it, as I felt that would be a great fit for this house. With the background walls complete, I do feel that the house looks a lot more modern with keeping to these medieval materials that we have here. I might even consider doing a few other small changes here and there, like throwing some ebonstone down here to make it look like those supports carried down into the stone. I'm not sure. I might tweak around with that and figure out what I want to do, but what I want to talk about right here is behind the doors. There's these big gaps whenever you have a double wide wall, which I'm not particularly a fan of. You could do several things, like you could just shape that, it would look just fine. You could also grab some fences and put it here to make it flush with the wall. I've done that in the past. I'm going to take the materials of the interior wall and we're just going to put these behind the door like this. And there's going to be a little bit of an overhang on the outside, which is normally why I haven't done that, but that's kind of a moot point in the current update because we could just grab echo walls right here, put those right on the side of that, and the walls end up being connected in that way if you don't misclick like I did just there. I'm not sure if it's better this way or better with the fences, and you know what, we'll just go with the fences to show you what that looks like. So usually I'll either use rich mahogany or shadowwood fence, and we'll just grab that with brown paint, and those would go right in here instead. Either of those look really good in my opinion, and I think that it's a really good solution to this problem. And because of the increased height, we've also increased this wall right here. As you can see in the quintessential house that we have, this has a little step up. It's something that you often see in his builds where the ground is level on one side to the other. I wanted to do the same sort of thing in here, but this time we're just going to take some of our floor material and some stone platforms, and we're just going to make a bit of a stair right here for the step up. Next, I want to work on the roof and changing out the floors and the walls while keeping the spirit of Chippy's house design, but giving a more updated material. I've been staring at this and tossing up building materials longer than I'd care to admit. So for starters, obviously the shingle roof you just saw me place has been replaced with crimstone brick. The reason for this is I felt that the shingles looked good, but they looked like they didn't really fit the spirit of the Chippy house. And I feel like Crimstone brick does that a little bit more. It feels a little bit more on the medieval side than the Victorian modern side of what shingles would bring. So I went with that, and then I put some background walls here of the Crimstone brick to give it a little bit of an underhang. And now I'm realizing I flipped the hat design of the roof upside down, and I'm thinking I might just give it a slim hat by doing something like this, taking off those corner pieces, grabbing a piece of echo wall and putting it there to make that wall shrink down. This way we have the hat profile. Another thing that I've been tossing around in my mind about what exactly I want to do has been with the walls. I kind of like them with just straight wood walls, but part of me also likes them with brown painted spooky wood walls. One is obviously a little bit darker than the other and matches the overall vibe of the materials here. The other is a little bit more true to what we've got on this, where it's got darker walls and brighter blocks. And I'm thinking I'm going to just stick with wood blocks for the side walls. Now that the block choices are done, I'm going to do a little bit more detailing with the background walls, make my decisions here. And if you guys look very closely, in between these blocks are a whole bunch of clear gaps where the smooth textures meet the rough textures, and there's no walls behind them, so they just kind of let a little bit of light in. It won't actually let light in per se, but you can see through them, and I'm going to get rid of that. And the best way to do that is to just slap down walls. It doesn't really matter what. For the most part, you won't be able to see these. So I'm going to clear up all of these holes, do a couple more design things, and then we'll get onto the furniture. So with the house cleaned up a bit, we're going to start working on furniture. Now, in the quintessential Chippy house, we have a crafting area, a storage area, and a bedding area. And we're going to do the same thing over here, but I might change out the layout of these. I'll keep storage over here, but I might swap the crafting area to over here and the bedroom to up here, just because I like the idea of having the nice big glass window in the bedroom and having the more tighter, darker walls in the crafting area. We're also going to be getting rid of these torches and doing a different sort of lighting combination throughout the house. And now the detailing work is done, where we've taken the Chippy house from this over to this. Now, if I wanted to, I could make the storage more accurate in terms of size, probably by cutting into the spiral staircase just like his house design did, but I'm quite happy with how this house looks all in all. I decided to go pretty Spartan with the outside, just having some wrought iron fence, threw some more decorative plants into the false foundation, and the house is done. Oh yes, I also added a chimney and a flue to the furnace to make it look like the smoke has somewhere to go. And I'm quite pleased with how the Chippy house transformation has turned out. But now it's time to do my own build by taking the Chippy twist of having a modern style house with medieval style materials. If you've been enjoying these videos, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow, and I cannot thank you all enough for it. I have a lot of content planned for the immediate future, so if you want to be caught up as soon as I post, be sure to turn on the notification bell as well. And that completes the modern style medieval build. This was quite an interesting experiment for me. Leave a comment letting me know what you think of the build. I'm rather happy with both of the houses that I did today. I hope you all are too. And be sure to go give Chippy your love on his channel, because without him, this channel wouldn't even be here right now. Remember to order your plushies before time runs out. And I wanted to give a huge thank you to my biggest supporters for the month. Hypic3 and Sarcasm Not Intended. And be sure to check out my channel artist MythicalWater, linked in the description below. Thank you all very much for watching. Be back soon with a new video.